In a remote village bathed in shadows and surrounded by dense forests, there were legends telling about an abandoned house. This house, which everyone knows is haunted by evil spirits, has been surrounded by terrifying stories for generations. Layla was a young girl full of curiosity and courage living in the village. Layla had heard a lot about this abandoned house and always wondered if these stories were true or just myths passed on by people. One dark and stormy night, Layla decided to explore the house on her own. Layla slipped out of her house cautiously, carrying with her a small lamp and a bag containing some necessities. It was cold and the wind was blowing frighteningly around her, which increased her fear, but she did not back down. When Layla arrived at the abandoned house, the facade was crumbling, the windows were broken, and the doors were creaking under the pressure of the wind. I opened the door slowly, its creaking interrupting the silence as if it were the scream of a tortured soul. Layla entered and turned on her flashlight, revealing a long, dark corridor full of dust and spiders. Layla walked through the rooms one by one, trying to find any evidence of the presence of spirits. Each room seemed bleaker than the last, but there was nothing unusual until she reached the top floor. Upstairs, Layla found a room that looked different. Her door was tightly closed, with strange inscriptions on it that she couldn't understand. Layla felt something wrapping around her heart, a mixture of fear and curiosity, but she decided to finish what she started. I opened the door very slowly and found an old room full of books and manuscripts. As she scanned the room, she heard a faint sound like a whisper. Layla trembled and tried to focus to determine the source of the sound. I figured it was coming from one of the old books on the table. It was that moment when everything started to change. Layla took the book and began reading from it with a trembling voice. The words were incomprehensible, but something inside her forced her to continue. Suddenly, the ground shook beneath her feet, and a vortex of darkness surrounded her. Voices began to grow louder, and whispers became ear-piercing screams. Layla found herself in another place, strange and frightening. She was in the same house, but it seemed like another world. Everything was upside down, and the shadows were moving as if they were alive. Layla felt truly terrified and did not know what to do or where to go. As she tries to escape, she is confronted by strange, distorted beings who appear to be tortured souls. These creatures were chasing her, trying to catch her. Layla ran with all her might, trying to survive, but she felt that the end was near. In a moment of despair, Layla remembered the book that was still in her hand. She opened the book and began reading out loud everything she saw in front of her, hoping to find the solution. With every word she read, the objects began to recede, the voices faded, and the darkness slowly retreated. When Layla read the last word in the book, she suddenly returned to the real world. She was exhausted and terrified, but the house was quiet again. Layla realized that she had survived and that the book was the key to saving her. Layla ran away from home, and when she returned to the village, she swore never to return to that place. She conveyed her experience to the village residents so that the abandoned house remained surrounded by legends, but this time with a new story, the story of Layla and the haunted house.